Hello students, let us continue with the chapter Management of Natural Resources and also the topic Conservation and Management of Water Resources. First of all, what are dams? Dams are very huge concrete structures that are built across rivers. Main purpose is to store water, and this stored water is used for irrigation in the agricultural sector. Apart from this, it is also used for generation of electricity, that is hydroelectricity, or we can say tidal power. The other uses are mitigation of floods, pisciculture, inland navigation, and also promotes tourism. These are the few advantages of dams. The Indira Gandhi Canal has brought greenery to many parts of Rajasthan. Now, there is no equitable distribution of water because the people who live near to the source of water grow crops that are or need a lot of water, such as sugarcane and paddy. But those who live away from the source get very little water or no water. So there is no equitable distribution of water. To add to this, the land was procured from many of the people for building these huge dams. So they are displaced from their habitats or homes, and they have not been given adequate compensation. And there are also a lot of ecological problems related to the building of dams. We have seen that there were a lot of protests against the building of the Tehri Dam over the Ganga because it had far-reaching ecological effects which led to the destruction of many ecosystems and thus ecological imbalance in the mountainous regions. We are also very well aware about the Narmada Bachao Andolan, which was against the raising of the height of Sardar Sarovar Dam over the river Narmada. Let us see what are the disadvantages of such huge dams. There are three disadvantages: social problems, economic problems, and environmental problems. Now, what are these social problems? Many people who live in a particular area are displaced from their lands, but they are not rehabilitated properly, neither are they given suitable compensation. A very good example for this is the outseas of the Tava Dam, which was built in 1970, are still fighting for their rights because they have not got adequate compensation, neither have they been rehabilitated properly. Next is economic problem. Building of such huge dams require enormous capital and a lot of money is spent on that. But the returns are not profitable. Therefore, there is huge economic loss and burden on the part of the government. Lastly, environmental problems. When such huge structures are built, the forest of these areas are cut down. There is deforestation, and this deforestation leads to loss of biodiversity. Not only that, a lot of vegetation that is cut down is just left rotting in and around. And this rotting causes the release of a greenhouse gas known as methane, which adds to the global warming. So these are the few disadvantages of dams. Now, what is watershed management? Scientific conservation of soil and water. Now, what is the aim for this watershed management? This is to promote the growth of primary resources such as land and water, so that secondary resources such as animals and plants for their use are used in such a manner that there is ecological balance maintained. Now, what are the uses of this watershed management, or what are the purposes? It increases the income of the watershed community, income and production of the watershed community, helps to mitigate floods, and also it increases the life of downstream dams and reservoirs. In India, water harvesting is an age-old concept. Every trickle of water has been tried to be saved. So, small lakes, pits, etc. are built. Not only that, earthen dams, dikes are constructed, limestone and sand reservoirs, and also rooftop collecting units. These are the various methods by which water can be harvested. Now let us look into the various water harvesting systems that are specific to certain states. For example, khadins, nadis and tanks in Rajasthan, bundis of Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, ahars and pines of Bihar, eris of Tamil Nadu, surangams of Kerala, katas of Karnataka, and ponds in the Kandi belt of Jammu and Kashmir. These are a few water harvesting systems exclusive to these places. Therefore, these methods are locale specific and highly localized. Now let us see the structure of a khadin. A khadin is a crescent-shaped earthen embankment or a low concrete rubble check dam, which is filled with water during the monsoon season, and it is built across gullies that are seasonally flooded. The largest structure holds water throughout the year, but the smaller structures hold water only for 6 months. Water is found in the ponds that are behind these structures. Now, what is the advantage of groundwater? Groundwater not only helps to recharge the water or recharge the underground water, but also helps to maintain the moisture in the land and thus helps spread moisture to the vegetation cover. Not only this, it prevents the breeding of mosquitoes because the water is covered, it is not exposed, and contamination is also limited. That is contamination from animal and plant waste. This is also limited. So, groundwater is always advantageous because it provides moisture to the vegetation cover, increases the groundwater level, does not encourage the breeding of mosquitoes, and the pollution rate is also, or the contamination rate is also comparatively lower. With that, we have come to the end of the session and the topic conservation and preservation or management of water resources. Thank you.